Let's talk about a global colors company, work that Luz Maria Puente, who we have with us today, started back in the year 2002. And we will also get to hear in another part of the video, or the knowledge base, in another project, how you worked with another part of this company and their flavors division. But this is in the colors division that you were working with them, and you were working with them principally on Mexico operations. Is that correct, or right?
Mexico and Central America.
Mexico and Central America, excellent. So this is a global company in colors, mostly colors for food.
Mostly for food.
Mostly for food. Big company. This is their Mexico and Central American operations. You were working mostly within the company, in the Mexican Central American operations group. So this was mostly at the senior level within the organization. So there weren't external stakeholders involved. And so this is a great example of working within a company, what we can do within a larger company. And it was done in Mexico. You were working with them in Mexico City, and the project was done in Spanish, right?
Yes.
Excellent. And this was, I understand, mostly our strategic clarity process. And this would have been in 2002, would have been early in the strategic clarity work. So the book Managing from Clarity had just come out, but this was very early in the strategic clarity work that you were doing. Excellent. So when they connected with you, what were some of the key, or what was the reasoning for, if you remember, what was the purpose for doing this kind of project, or what kinds of things, what we might now call the deeper shared purpose and that reference behavior pattern, but what was it they were looking for in seeking out doing a strategic systems process?
I was fortunate enough to teach the subject at one of the universities in Mexico, and the president of the company took the class, and he found it very appealing what you can do. So he said, I want that we just study applied to my company. So we started working and trying to understand what was the global goal of the company. They say they want to create value on an annual basis for their stakeholders. It was very interesting. It was the first time. No, it was not the first time, but one of the first participations on applying the Managing from Clarity framework. And when we got all the stakeholders in place of the company, or the representation of them, because we have shareholders and the corporate company that will have a big say of the way the strategies were set in Mexico. The president had freedom to set up the strategy the way he wanted, as long as he gives results. So he was very confident of being able to deliver the results. So he wanted to be more proactive and get into applying the Managing from Clarity framework. One of the best experience that I had with them was when we have the heads of human resources, operations, sales. We have everybody in the room, and we start creating the map. We did work on the global goal and had a new global goal, not the mission or the vision, but we create a new statement where everybody was part of creating that statement. When we're just talking about the company and creating the map, for me, one of the best proofs that this works is when we start. Everybody was saying, are we mapping the way we would like it to be or the way it is? And I said, no, we're gonna map the way is how the company is working now. So when we were trying to describe how does the company work, we find out that something that should not have happened. So the president of the company immediately, as we were drawing an arrow that says this is the way it happened, says no, that arrow should not be there. This is not the process of once you get the an order. So immediately he created a new position. He assigned one person to that position. And he says, with this person, this arrow that should not have been there, we're gonna eliminate that. So to me, it was very insightful that you can even act immediately upon when you are seeing things the way they are, and they should not be that way. So for me, it was very, very interesting to be able to see someone that is in the position to do something about it, that he did. So that was really good to see. And then we create different strategies. The main we work on which will be the best strategies to create value in a sustainable basis as the global goal they set. And we initiatives. So we went and understood where were the strategic resources. We evaluate the resources with the colors, the red, yellow, and green, and start understanding who owns each resource and what can we do about it. So it was very good just to focus and understand what are the resources and what can we do with each main strategies that we chose. So it was very good.
Excellent. Are there any other, now that it's been many years, so 15, 16 years, are there any other key insights from that project, that time that you were with them that you remember? Either insights that you had at this earlier stage of our process, or?
I think one big shift for them was starting they start valuing the possibility of seeing the whole company in one place, because everybody was very expert in their own area, but they not quite understood how the other areas came together to make the company. It was not an easy thing to do the map, but once we had the map, it was very simple to see it. So we even used the map. I create a high level map, so it was easy to consume because the detail map it was too big. But the high level map was used to introduce the company to people that were hired recently, so they can see the whole thing. So we made a big map, and it was used to walk everybody. This is we all understand this. So the president of the company is not one area; it's everybody. This is what the way we see it, and we understood it. So it became also like a learning laboratory for other people in the company, because it was not something that everybody shared. So it was a shared knowledge, and it was very useful to saying this is why we do what we do, and this is the way we do it. So it helped to communicate the clarity that we gained through the process.
So one of the things I hear in thinking of both the process and the insights was for the participants, one of the, in the process, to have the, based on this definition of the reference behavior pattern or the deeper shared purpose, then the design of the capturing and integration of the whole system at a detailed level, and then the generation of a higher level map to help see, sort of guide to the topography of what's in this so that we can see the whole. And that was helpful to the participants in being able to see themselves in both the detail and the higher level.
Yeah.
And getting their sense of where they had been very much within their part of the whole, they were now able to see the whole in a different way. Were there any other things that you saw in taking them through the process? Anything else that you started doing there, or that you saw there when looking back on your notes that you said, oh, that was really cool that we did that?
I remember we saw a distinction between because we were trying to improve the service for the client, and how do we create value for the client. And when we start understanding, really asking the question, what does the client want? And we use the variable, and we didn't call it quality of service or quality of the product. We use the perception of the quality and the perception of the service. And it was a different concept of, I'm trying to change the perception, but to change the perception, I need to change the service. I need to change the quality and the delays. And it was a slight, because it was different to change the perception than to change the product. So we went to subtleties that make them think even more and more, what are they doing and how are they doing it. So it was very insightful to go to that detail. So how do we change the perception? And it was a really, the time that we spent really understanding the client and what they want, it was such a good exercise for them and for us.
Excellent. So that's a great, I see two things in that. One is, when we're paying attention in our decision-making process, or the information that influences our decisions within the systems map, are we talking about the actual product? Are we talking about another stakeholder? So that's one stakeholder who thinks about the quality of the product, internal operations. And perception of the quality is a whole different stakeholder group within the company who thinks about perception, and we're including now another stakeholder. But that also asks the questions that I just said of, what information are we actually using and looking? Are we actually only using the quality based on our internal perception, or are we looking at perception of the quality from an external stakeholder? And then the question that we always ask is, then how do you know? How does that bring in? That's great. And when you look back through your presentation materials of that, was there anything else that you said, wow, that was really cool, I completely forgot about that?
I think making small maps of each initiative, that was useful, just to see what are the variables that we're trying to manipulate in here. Not forgetting that belongs to the whole map. It's just an abstraction of one single thing, but seeing them. We have the initiatives, each one with its single map. It was very helpful just to have a map with 10 variables. And we're focusing on this, knowing that there is a lot behind, but this is what we're paying attention to. It did create and increase the level of clarity that they had.
Excellent. So are there any other impacts that you know of that the project happened, in addition to the ones that you've shared, within the company or across the companies over time? Were there any other that you know of? Or?
I think that they start see themselves as a whole, versus I'm finance, I'm marketing, I'm operations. Yes, I am, and I'm hired to work in a specific area, but all of them, they start seeing themselves as a whole. everybody's responsible not only for your area. So that was a nice erasing of the lines and becoming one. That was very nice.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for sharing this story. This is great. Trip down memory lane from 16 years ago.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.